Hi, and welcome to Honors Grad U. I'm Ashley.
I'm Jared.
I'm Brittany.
And today we're talking about the book that we read for the month, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. You're
like
covering up the title.
Oh, sorry.
By Jane Austen and Seth Grahame-Smith.
It's a local library copy, so it's
Yeah,
protected.
we went to the library, as everybody should. Go to your library if you're gonna read the book, in case you haven't already.
So this was my pick, and I picked it because I was looking through a list of books for book club recommendations, and I was like, man, what do I pick? And Ashley and I debated for a really long time whether or not I should pick this book because it looked really awesome. I haven't read the original. Ashley's read the original, and Jared's never read the original.
I saw none of the movie, actually.
And so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to pick it because there was a comment left that was like, talking about how the book is not, it's not meant to be taken seriously, basically, and it's a big joke. So anyway, we started reading this. Should we admit this?
We didn't finish.
We didn't finish.
Not a single one of us finished. Brittany got the farthest.
I got the farthest.
I got a little bit behind her. Jared didn't even start as far as I know.
No, I started. I
Okay,
read through the first 10 chapters
fair.
or so.
He started. But in all fairness, he didn't get the book till like 3 days ago. So,
yeah. So,
I love the book. I've read it multiple times. I watched the A&E 5.5-hour version on kind of like a regular basis.
Gosh.
I think the Keira Knightley version is a terrible adaptation because it's way too short. So that's where I'm coming from. Brittany has seen the Keira Knightley movie and knows nothing else about Pride and Prejudice. And you only saw it the one time, right?
I only saw it once, and I didn't really I'm not a huge chick flick fan, so I was like, okay, fine. But I don't know the storyline. Well, I didn't know the storyline. I couldn't have just told you what happened in the book. So as I'm reading through the book, I'm like, what happened? Like I didn't know what they changed, basically. So to me, it was like reading a new book.
It was its own book.
It was its own book, and it was like a zombie book, which I thought was great, mixed with like these old prim and proper English people. Whereas Ashley saw it as like, they changed that word. She could see the differences that happened.
Yes, and then Jared.
The only relation I have with this book is that it's in English and I can read it.
You knew nothing about Pride and Prejudice beforehand. Didn't know what to expect.
Don't know if I want to.
You were a little wary about starting it, and I think we've justified your qualms here by looking through some of the more violent passages. So Brittany and I got relatively far, and the rest of the plot we kind of just looked up online. That's a really
There's a killer
important
first line
graphic.
though. It's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
The first line, but see for me, that's like
It's
the
also on the
epitome
first
of the book.
Oh.
The first line, the first line of Pride and Prejudice is really well known to dorks like me, and so for me, changing the first line the way they did was like the entire joke, and so I didn't like the whole rest of the novel in my mind is just taking that joke way farther than it really.
What's the first line of yours?
The first line of Pride and Prejudice, I'm gonna not embarrass myself and go get the book instead of just reciting it.
Okay.
So, hold that thought. Okay. So the first line in the original Pride and Prejudice, book, not reciting, says, "It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife." And that's like the epitome of Pride and Prejudice. It's the line that, really loser people like me know very well. They change it for Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, obviously, and for me, that's the whole joke of the book.
Never do this to a book, it's bad for the spine. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a zombie in possession of brains must be in want of more brains.
Okay.
So you see how, that's the entire joke. Like, they've changed the point of the book from being about fortune and men and getting married and all that stuff to zombies.
Wow.
And so, yeah.
You never took this book seriously. From the first line, you knew it was mocking Jane Austen's fine work.
I love Jane Austen. Okay, so this is so embarrassing.
Take it away. You're great.
I'm such a dork. That's how I feel. Like, this book is a joke, and I can't take it.
Everybody's a
I can't take it as a joke. Like,
yeah,
I'm so offended.
We were talking about it before we started filming, and she's like, "This book is so ridiculous. They changed the characters." And
well, because it did. The characterization is so inconsistent, and see, that's why I'm a dork. I majored in English. I have an English degree. That is my justification for being a total snob. I'm really sorry.
Look at this
there you
picture.
Go. That'll explain everything that I do from now on.
This is when the servants all... Oh yeah, this is a problem that Ashley had with the book too. Because, well, in her words, what she was saying earlier, which I will let her elaborate on, is basically that... Well, it was that... You know, the reason why we love Pride and Prejudice and the reason why we love Mr. Darcy is because he's so kind and, like, in the original book, but in this book...
Is he not a snob in the beginning?
Well, because he becomes...
The reason we love all of the characters that we love is that they're different from your typical upper class person. Like, they're kind to those who are below them. I don't even know what to say about that.
They play a game called Kiss Me Dear in this book. I think it's Elizabeth and Jane. And they have to wrestle down the wildest, biggest grazing buck in the wetlands, or wherever they are, and give it a kiss.
That makes sense.
And the rules were simple. Sneak up behind one of the large bucks grazing, that's just what I said, in the nearby woods, wrestle it to the ground, and kiss it on the nose before letting it go. So the ingenuity of this author, it's really intrigued me, and I really feel inspired to write nonsensical novels and fill people's minds with mayhem and violence. So I've been inspired.
I just feel like I actually really liked this book. I was reading it and I was like giggling. I'm gonna read my favorite line if I can find it. Okay, so basically the whole premise is it's exactly like Pride and Prejudice except for set in zombie times. What would happen in Pride and Prejudice if there had been a zombie apocalypse for 5 and 50 years? I liked it because I like zombies and I honestly can't... Like, the whole time I was reading it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Is that in the real book? And I came to find out that all the awesome parts are not even really in the real book. So that was kind of depressing.
But can I just tell you, I can't remember whose article I was reading, so really sorry if I quote this wrong. I think it was the New York Times. Said that the book was 75% Jane Austen's word for word, verbatim. 25% Seth Grahame-Smith. And 100% really stupid. So...
It is stupid.
It is stupid. And that's why I have a hard time giving my critique, why I'm embarrassed about it. Because I want to critique it like it's a Jane Austen novel. I want to delve into the depths of whatever. But there are no depths. It's just a silly zombie book.
It really is.
And so,
I mean, it really is. Like, the part where she eats the still beating heart of the ninja that she kills from, which Lady Catherine has an army of ninjas in this.
Which is cool.
It's
and
so
it'd be
cool.
really cool if the ninjas could live for more than a page and a half. Every time the ninjas show up, they die, like, instantly.
Well,
ninjas are supposed to be better.
At least in the first half of the book. We don't really know what happens.
Okay, I read a review that totally agrees with me. I wanted to ask Jared, since you didn't actually read the book, and I know you had qualms about it before, you just started it and then basically set it aside. What were your concerns going in that made you so afraid to read this book?
That it was gonna be boring.
It's about zombies.
Yeah, I just didn't know how much about zombies it was going to be. I thought it would be a love story with a zombie slaying here and there, but it was mostly a zombie slaying with a love story here and there.
I don't actually know which one it was.
And then a little bit of mayhem and social confusion and etiquette, and it was just a mix of mayhem, I don't know. But then I picked it up and it wasn't so bad, it was...
Did it make you laugh?
No. The old English speak with the zombies thing was weird for me, honestly. After having watched The Walking Dead, I just have this thing fixed in my mind about zombies, and I just can't... It's the perfect zombie story and about zombies.
Twilight girls do that with vampires.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just didn't meet my expectations the first 50 pages, so I had to give up.
It's kind of a creepy picture.
It is a very creepy picture. I actually, at first, when I got this from the library, I was like, I don't want to touch that cover. It's gross.
I didn't want anyone to see what I was getting when I was in the library. I was just like...
Oh yeah, I got like 3 other books, so I kind of had it in the middle.
Final thoughts. Final thoughts. I would say read the first half of the book because that's all I read and I liked it. I might finish it, probably not, but there's a possibility that I might finish it. So I would say I thought it was very entertaining. I would say it's a book to read when you're bored because if you have anything else better to do with your time, I would not read this book.
Wow.
Jared?
I would say, yeah, if I'd been given more time, if I'd started at the beginning of the month, I didn't get it until recently, Probably would have read the whole thing. It was mildly entertaining, and if you like zombie literature, then you definitely can't go wrong.
I still plan on finishing it. I guess I would say if you can go in knowing that it's a joke, then yes, I definitely recommend it. If you're a person like me and have a really hard time not being hypercritical and, you know, looking for the literary themes and meanings and whatever, then just don't bother. I mean, you can find the first chapter online and just read it there, and then you'll get the joke and you can be done with it. As a joke, I would give it like 4.5 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
As a book, like,
Literary.
for reading, I wouldn't even bother with it, like not even 1 star. There's no substance to it. It's just kind of silly.
It is silly. Actually, I liked it, but because it was silly and obnoxious.
And unnecessarily violent.
Definitely unnecessary. Okay.
Very violent.
Whether or not it's necessary, this is definitely not a book for the faint of heart.
No.
We're not joking about
Very
eating the
violent.
still beating heart. That actually does happen.
Yeah.
And worse.
And worse, yes.
And worse.
There's strangulation and strangulation. That's
Yeah.
the word. All kinds of
It's
disgusting things
terrifying.
happen in this book.
Yeah.
Bleeding pus and whatever.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's gross.
Deer kissing.
But for some people, that's really cool.
So we have movie club on Friday. We're starting a movie club. Surprise. We watch a movie from Netflix, and it's the same person that picks the book also picks the movie. And so since it was my pick this month for the book, the movie that we're going to pick is Mona Lisa Smile, which is available on Netflix, that you can watch it there. And if you guys want to send in anything to include yourself in our review of that, when we finish watching it, we'll sit down and have a review just like this, and we would love to hear what you guys have to think about that. You can tweet us or something like that, anything. We have all the links in the description box below, and you can also click this annotation to go to our website, honorsgradu.com, and see all of the stories that we've ever done. Anything else?
Next month's book club.
Oh yes, that's right.
For next month, it's my pick, which means I'm gonna make you think. So take that, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies and Seth Graham-Smith. We're going to be reading a great book. It's called Remains the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro. This is my house. It's right there. It's a beautiful book. It's fantastic. I highly recommend it. Give it a read. We'll talk about it on...
I think it's the first weekend in September. No, in October.
in October.
But I can't remember.
Is it like the first Monday or the first Friday?
It will be right here on the screen. Whatever day.
We will be watching, or we will be talking about it
On
on
that
one of
day.
our book club videos on this date. It will be awesome. If you have any recommendations for books or movies that you'd like us to watch, leave it in the comments below. Like or subscribe. We have bi-weekly videos every Monday and Friday, and they're really awesome, and we have a lot of fun making them, so hopefully you guys have fun watching them too.
Yeah.
And my name is Ashley.
I'm Jared.
I'm Brittany. Thanks for watching, guys.